How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? What's the real truth about Citizen Kane?
It'll probably turn out to be a very simple thing.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm Parker.
I'm Max.
And welcome back to another episode of Better Than Citizen Kane, the highly subjective show where we look at a movie and ask that titular question. Because when every movie ever made is a reasonable contender for the title of greatest film of all time, you have to wonder, better than Citizen Kane.
This week, I just ran out of bullshit. I really don't know any other way to say it other than I just ran out of bullshit. Meanwhile, Parker has some good ideas for ways to get that 30 share and a 20 rating we've been chasing our entire lives, but we'll see. Until then, we're discussing Sidney Lumet's 1976 satire, Network.
Mm-hmm.
I just opted to not try an impression at all. I simply
wasn't
felt I didn't
it.
have it in me, and it would be funnier to not do it. So
I
that's
understand.
where we're at. That being said, all respect to Howard Beale.
Mm-hmm.
No hate. I see what he's doing,
Of course.
and I'm a little mystified, but okay, buddy, you do you.
Sure, you do you.
Everyone in this movie said, you do you, for our profit. But with a P-H-E-T.
Oh, yes, of course.
You ever think about the connection between profit and profit?
Holy
You guys ever think about that before?
I've
You
never
guys ever
thought
think
of
about
that.
how media has the power to influence people?
No, it has never crossed my mind. Not once.
Well, have I got a movie for you to watch, Parker? It's called Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Ah, yes.
No, it's called Network.
Mm-hmm.
This is your pick,
Yes, I wanted
right?
to bring this to the
Okay.
show. Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't seen this before, so I
No.
could have picked it, but you picked it.
As we've often discussed, it's a good, like, probably 50-50 split on the show of, like, movies that we think would be interesting to discuss in conversation with Kane, which this is, but also it's just getting each other to watch movies that we've been recommending for a while.
It is.
So it's like, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this because I know you're going to like it. And then I saw Max's 5-star review came in, and I threw my hands up in the air and I said, yes!
Interesting, because I saw your second 4.5-star review, and I said,
That
so
is correct.
Is it pacing? Is it the fact that that a woman is allowed to be bad, Parker, that you're like, I just don't think women should be allowed to be bad.
I don't think women should be able to be
I
bad.
just feel like that's really problematic. Why isn't she a queen?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
Parker's
thought.
take. Is it that you're a little thrown off by the opening of the movie being so fast and just dumping you right in?
I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
About my half-star.
Well, those are my theories as to what Parker doesn't like about Network.
Yes.
This movie he hates.
Right.
As I have to do my bit, I almost forgot to do the bit, which is
Thank
that
you.
Parker didn't give it 5 stars, so I have to say that he hates it.
I was waiting.
Yeah. But when did you see this for the first time? This is your second watch, right?
This is my second watch. I watched this for the first time only a few years ago. It was August of 2023. It was just, I just had some downtime and was scrolling through movies, and I was like, I really should watch Network. It's one of those that I'd heard about a lot for most of my kind of movie-going life. And finally I was like, I'll just sit down and watch it, and was pretty blown away by it. Was just like, oh, wow, this is, again, as so many people have already stated over the years, it just has not lost 1 ounce of its relevance.
No.
Like, it just keeps getting more relevant.
And, like, we're going to talk about this a few times this year.
Yeah.
We have 2 other movies this year. I'll just say them right now. Broadcast News and Face in the Crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of create this trilogy of, like, Americans reckoning with the shift in public media and, like, mass communication from being something with kind of a backbone to being something that is completely sold out for the sake of capitalistic ventures.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just kind of this through line. Like, it's not like they weren't aware it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, these movies were coming out because they were like, oh, hey, we're noticing a tendency and kind of a shift and kind of a corruption of.
Yeah.
And it didn't do anything, which rocks.
Yeah. And that,
But at least we got Network out of it. Because it is eternally relevant. My review was just like, wow, what a perfect time to watch Network 1976 for the first time, said everyone who's watched Network for the first time in 50 years.
Yeah, truly.
Because it is 50 this year. It turned 50. It's turning 50 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Congrats.
The big 5-0.
The big 5-0.
Half a century of Network. What have we learned? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
So, yeah. So you watched it for the first time a few years ago.
Yes. Yep. And
but you'd
just
seen a
off
clip.
Yeah, I had seen the "I'm mad as hell" clip for sure.
I had seen a wet man yelling, and I was like vaguely aware that was Network, and that's all I knew.
Mm-hmm. I think again, like, it's funny how much of this kind of ties back into this one kind of litmus point of watching the documentary about the National Film Registry. They had like muted clips of this in montages a lot. I was like, what's that? What's that movie?
Yeah.
Who's that wet man?
Hey, who's that wet man yelling?
Yes.
It's Howard Beale.
It's Howard Beale.
Learn your network TV history, Parker. What are you talking about?
I know. What am I doing?
It's such a clever little trick that the movie does right up top, is just be like CBS, ABC, NBC, and then it's like UBS, and you just go, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Got it. UBS
yeah, you put him
exists,
next to
and
Walter
here.
Cronkite, and it's like, yeah, that's a real newscaster.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a good trick.
What was your exposure, knowledge of this film before going in?
Basically what I just said. I
Great.
had not seen this before. I was vaguely aware of it, as I think probably more so from the time you watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably saw you log it and was like, oh, I should check that out. And you were like, you really should.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, so you had to bring it to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen Howard Beale fresh out of the rain at a desk with clocks behind him yelling. And I was vaguely aware of some big line that I had probably seen in a Megaplex pre-show before. This has big Megaplex pre-show vibes.
Yes.
For our Utah listeners. And that's basically it. Like, I wasn't even aware that Faye Dunaway was in this until the credits started, and I was like, oh, Faye Dunaway, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really didn't know much.
Fair.
And then I came to it fresh, watched it for the first time, had a great time, and now I'm here to talk about it.
Yep.
So that's why I'm
Nice.
here.
There we are.
Yeah. As far as in conversation with Kane, this is considered one of the greatest American films of all time,
It
right?
absolutely is considered. It was 64th on the AFI Top 100 in 2007.
Great.
It was selected for the Preservation of the National Film Registry in 2000. In 2002, it was inducted into the Producer Guild of America Hall of Fame as a film that, quote, set an enduring standard for American entertainment. In 2005, the Writers Guild of America voted Chayefsky's screenplay one of the 10 greatest in history. So yes, it is.
Wow.
It is a accoladed film. It received 10 nominations at the Academy Awards that year. It took home 4.
Yeah. It is number 210 on the Letterboxd top 500.
Yes, top 500. Big
thing
development.
that happened between episodes. Letterboxd updated, which is a list that we look to a lot on this show.
Yes.
And now it's the top 500. So Kane does appear now.
Yes.
In the top.
Kane is now listed.
Just to get that out of the way, what was its number again?
It was like 280 something.
It's 364.
364. I don't know where I was.
It's 364. Wow. Okay. Sorry, everyone. We'll talk about Network in a second.
Yes.
366, The Straight Story. David Lynch's The Straight Story. 365, Almodovar's All About My Mother.
Okay.
364, Citizen Kane. 363, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. 362, The Long Goodbye. 361, Rio Bravo.
There you go. Okay.
I'm honestly fine with that.
Yeah, I can live with that.
That feels like a great placement for it.
It's a good spot.
But Network is 210.
Yeah.
And it's 210 as of this week. It is just I just had it. It's just below A Matter of Life and Death, Parker.
Mm-hmm.
For all the rest of you Powell and Pressburger heads out there.
Whoa, whoa.
All you Powell and Press burglars out there. Is that what it would be? I like to think so.
I like that. Yeah, so that's, you know, as far as...
It's considered...
Yeah,
I kind
it's
of
one of the
undermined
greats.
your whole, like, official sources being like, this
No,
is
but
one of the
it's
greats,
good
and
to
then I
bring
go,
up
but
the letterbox, though. The people.
What do the people think?
What do the people have to say?
I'm not even going to look at IMDb. I don't care. I don't care, actually. I just can't be bothered.
I can't be bothered, actually.
So Network is highly thought of.
Yes,
it has
very much so.
A big old reputation. I think, you know, apart from you wanting me to watch this movie, I think there's good reason to talk about it.
Yes.
And also, Kane is also a movie that deals with media sellout. That's quite literally what it's about. So very rich themes that we will most likely not compare too deeply on our show, where we're supposed to do that every week. But I simply ran out of bullshit. I've watched Citizen Kane 4 times and I feel pretty solid, so that's what I did. I just ran out of bullshit.
Yep.
What do you know about the background of this, Parker?
So, did some research on this. It's interesting because this is one of those movies that, by historical association, people try to draw direct lines that aren't necessarily there. So for a long time, people have made the assumption that this film is inspired by the incident of Christine Chubbuck in Florida, who killed herself on air. And that happened 2 years before this film came out. So everybody's like, oh, well, very clearly this is inspired by that. But
that's not how writing and filmmaking works.
No. And specifically, like, in the book Mad as Hell, The Making of Network, and the Fateful Vision of the Angriest Man in Movies, they talk about... They do some interviews with the writer, Chayefsky, about whether it was inspired by the case. And if you look through his notes at the time, like the day that it happens, his notes on the script don't mention anything about it. However, as it goes along, some months later, there is a draft that has a direct reference to it, where there's a line that Beale says, quote, "I'll blow my brains out right on air like that girl in Florida." And then they pull that out, and then that gets removed. So, like, it's not the inception point of this script idea, but it comes into conversation as drafts are being written by Penny Chayefsky.
which it would.
Naturally.
You know, if you have a script about this, you'd feel maybe drawn to reference it. But I think ultimately, good call not to.
Yep. But mostly it was just a matter of the fact that, like, Chayefsky was interested in the fact that network executives didn't engage with television at all at the time. He's quoted as saying, quote, "The programs they put on had to be bad, had to be something they wouldn't watch. Imagine having to work like that all your life." This industry where it's like, I'm producing something I won't even touch because I know it's bad. And it's not something that would interest me, but it interests other people, right? Which is interesting. Let's see, what other notes did I have?
Well, it's interesting. I just pulled up Sidney. So this is our second Lumet.
Yes, it is.
We just talked about 12 Angry Men last year. This is like 20 years since 12 Angry Men. In that time, he has made many, many films.
Right.
But he's coming off of Serpico in 73, Love and Molly in 74, which I've never heard of, and it looks like there's reason for that potentially. Murder on the Orient Express in 74, which is fine, but makes an impact. But man, is that movie kind of it's the Thanksgiving turkey of movies. Dog Day Afternoon in 75.
I was wondering when Dog Day was. That
Network in 76.
Jeez.
And then he gets Equus in 77, The Wiz in 78. So that's...
Dude, like...
Had to bring up The Wiz.
We could do an entire podcast on Lumet. Like, that filmography is
unreal.
Kind of nuts. It's
wild. Real.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
And he ended on a high note, which is rare.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. That's very true.
So Network is just like, I mean, imagine seeing Dog Day Afternoon in 75 and then seeing Network in 76 and just being like, yeah, this is the kind of movies this guy makes.
Yeah, it's also interesting, like, so much of the average filmgoer's understanding of film history of the 70s is, rightfully so, defined by the latter half of the blockbuster, right? Of Spielberg's and the Lucas and everything. But it is interesting looking at these kinds of movies and seeing why there were people in the industry who didn't like Lucas and Spielberg, because they're like, you're crippling.
Well, they were killing New
cinema.
Hollywood.
Yes, you are killing New Hollywood.
Right? Like New Hollywood arrives on the scene, what, like 67, 68, like Bonnie and Clyde. And then it's like there until basically 75, at which point it starts to die a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Spielberg and Lucas come in so hard with blockbusters. It's, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That being said, Network rocks, and so does most of Spielberg's filmography.
Yeah. Hey guys, we can have both.
You just selected to have both, actually.
Yeah. Let's see. Chayefsky was involved. He just finished a lawsuit against United Artists for a previous film being packaged to ABC with a less successful film, all this stuff, which is surprising that he then went to United Artists again for this with Lumet. And they turned it down because they thought that it was, the content was too much for them. They thought it was hysterical. They thought it was sensational. They shop it around. They eventually get to MGM. United Artists hears about this, comes crawling back with their tail between their legs, and MGM lets them partner with them on the film. So they get... basically, MGM handles everything domestic, and United Artists takes care of overseas distribution for the film. And that gets the ground running. It's fascinating looking at what could have been of like Chayefsky wrote Howard Beale with like a very particular set of actors in mind, including Henry Fonda, Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart, and Paul Newman. Those were all the first picks.
So like old guys, old stoic hero guys with a kindness in their eyes, just going nuts. That makes sense from a writing standpoint.
Absolutely. He wrote Newman telling him, quote, "You and a very small handful of other actors are the only ones I can think of with the range for this part."
Yeah.
Sidney Lumet wanted Fonda. He'd worked with him before, obviously, 12 Angry Men. Fonda declined the role, finding it too hysterical for his taste. Jimmy Stewart, he turned it down because of the strong language. He wasn't okay with it. They even actually considered using Walter Cronkite. Like they were like, what if we got like an actual real guy to do this? Nobody wanted to. They're like, no, I'm not putting my journalistic integrity on the line for your movie.
Yeah.
Which is just funny.
I mean, Peter Finch is pretty unbelievable in the role.
He is. He's really, really incredible. And there's some interesting stories about how all that went down. For the role of Max Schumacher, Chayefsky originally wanted either Walter Matthau or Gene Hackman, and you can totally see either of those guys.
Yeah, man, me too.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Writing a movie, being like, I'd really like, it'd be great, Gene Hackman. Sure. But they would have been good. Gene Hackman would have crushed it. They both would have crushed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, it's interesting of like. What I love about this movie is obviously not to besmirch the reputation and box office pull of William Holden and Peter Finch, but like something I like about this movie is that it's not like super like A-list what we know now in the 21st century actors. Like these feel like real
these
people.
Are guys who have fallen a little bit into the cracks of history, of film history, at least in this modern era.
Yes.
That being said, all due respect to Sunset Boulevard.
Right.
And Sabrina. Sorry, guys.
Tower Inferno. Like, they had
they had stuff.
Totally.
But like people today, you can put a Jimmy Stewart impression in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish,
Right.
You can't, you can't, so I agree. Like as someone who was not, turning this on, not immediately familiar with Holden or Finch, they just look like 70s guys, and it works really well.
Just real ass looking people.
That being said, I mean Newman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. Could have been? Whatever.
But producers were they were worried about Finch because he's Australian, and they didn't know if he could pull off the accent properly. And
interesting.
They demanded he do an audition, and the casting director is like, "Look, he's an established actor. He's a star. He's not going to go for that." And he reportedly responded, "Bugger pride. Put the script in the mail." And he's like, I'll audition. I'll do it. Like, I want the part. I'll do it. So he paid his own way to New York to go and do a screen test. He watched a bunch of broadcasts by American newscasters. He read international editions of the New York Times and the Herald Tribune into a tape recorder and then listened to his playback and like adjusted accordingly and made new recordings. Cool. And when he came into the audition, Chayefsky and Lumet loved him. They were just like, wow, like he's killing it. And Finch also gave them his recording tapes to like, he's like, hey, like this is more of what I can do. Like, I know you're worried about the accent or whatever. They get Faye Dunaway locked in pretty early on. She campaigned pretty hard for Robert Mitchum to play Max. But
oh man,
Lumet didn't want him.
But all right, that's fine. But that's sorry. Have you seen Friends of Eddie Coyle?
No,
70. I think it's 76 with. I think it's the same year. Maybe it's a few years before this with Mitchum. It's so good. You got to check it out. It's just like he plays an old mobster.
Hell yeah.
He rocks.
We love Mitchum on this podcast.
We love Mitchum on this podcast. I mean, come on.
We're big Mitchum fans.
And of course, Faye Dunaway has taste, it would seem.
Yes.
But again, I don't want to. I feel like every guy you're mentioning, I go, oh man. It's not because I'm like that would have been better.
No, it's just
because I go that makes
sense.
About.
Yeah,
like that does make sense.
Totally.
I get why they're excited about these guys, but I'm also like, network worked out.
Yep. When they cast Faye Dunaway, Lumet told her that he would edit out any attempt she made to give the character sympathy, like to make her sympathetic. He's like, no, like don't make her a human being. Like don't do it. Just do it. No vulnerability whatsoever. And if you do, I will just edit it out. It won't make it into the film. It's like
a rare case of supporting only women's wrongs.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. They talk about. I watched a bunch of different interviews with Lumet, and he talked about like Robert Duvall and like
R.I.P. by the way.
He's just R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. to the legend. Just how funny he is. Like that he is this powerhouse, but he can also be so funny. Like Ellie and I were cracking up over when they're in the office arguing, and he's like, do you know what people have been saying on Herb's phone? Tell him, Herb. And Herb starts talking. He's like, Herb's phone's been lighted up. He just like completely ignores him and talks over him. It's really good. Yeah, he's good. Very funny in the movie. Like he's great. Let's see. What's crazy? So let's talk about Ned Beatty, and we'll get to his scene.
Oof.
But like, wow. They had somebody else. I couldn't find who it was originally. Someone else was cast in the role, and Lumet fired him because he was just like, no, this isn't. It's not working for me. Robert Altman recommended Ned Beatty to Lumet. So he had one night to prepare the 4-page monologue, and he showed up and finished it in a day. Like he was involved in this film for 2 days, and he got an Oscar nomination out of it.
Oh, he did?
He did. Man. He didn't win, but he got the nom.
I mean, fair enough. But even just there's such a build up to, to Arthur Jensen, to Jensen, that you're like, who is this going to be?
Yeah.
And for it to be Ned Beatty, you're like, oh no, that's perfect. He is he's really just like immediately kind of terrifying and sinister in a way that is like hard to read immediately.
Yeah.
Like just like his face just kind of reads that way to me. I don't know.
But he's also got like he what's so great about that scene is the way that he switches on a dime. He's doing this hellfire and brimstone. He's like, I will not have it. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Beale? Like it's just he gets so quiet.
You know what that really reminded me of? It feels like there's potential that John Goodman looks to
absolutely.
Ned Beatty, because
100%.
Goodman does that so well.
Yeah.
And I'd never really thought about that until seeing this scene, that I was like, oh, this is Goodman in like every Coen Brothers performance he did.
Right.
Like
100%.
But Ned Beatty, he's so good in that scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really, really stellar cast. I mean, obviously, it took home 3 of the 4 acting noms at the Oscars that year.
I imagine that's only because there isn't really a supporting actress in this.
Well,
right?
no, it was
Oh
Beatty
no,
that
sorry,
didn't
lead.
win.
Sorry,
Yeah,
lead.
it's
yeah.
it's Max's wife. She took home Best Supporting. Beatrice
No
Straight.
way.
She won.
Okay,
she
good,
has the
good for
record
her.
right as of 2025. She only appears in 5 minutes and 2 seconds of screen time, making it the shortest performance to win an Oscar as of 2025.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
Oh, so Holden didn't win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beatty didn't win.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, hold on.
It's Finch, Dunaway, and Straight win.
Right, and Finch became the first posthumous winner in an
Yes.
acting category because he had died.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. As of 2024, it is the second of only 3 films to have won 3 out of the 4 acting categories, which would be Streetcar Named Desire in 1951 and Everything Everywhere All at Once in 2022.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah,
okay, so yeah, best actor in a... I just assumed this was such a best actor in a supporting role movie because it feels like every guy who's supporting. But if Ned Beatty's the nominee, that's... I mean, still, hey, great job, everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Round of applause for everyone involved. Let's see. So I mean, they go through the filming. It started in January of 1976. They talked about how Chayefsky was involved on set a lot because Lumet, he talks about in interviews that, like, as his career went on, he was more and more impressed by, like, the need to have writers involved with all aspects of it. Because he's like, look, this is your creative vision. Like, I'm here to execute that, but, like, the story is yours and I want you involved in how that story makes it to the screen. Finch had suffered some heart problems for many years leading up to this and, like, would have to take frequent breaks between Beale's rants because it really just took it out of him. Again, like,
I believe it.
You know, posthumous. Like, he didn't live to see his award for this. This was interesting. There was some concern about casting Holden and Dunaway across from each other because they had worked together on The Towering Inferno, and that really did not go very well at all.
Oh,
Faye
interesting.
Dunaway would frequently just leave everybody waiting for hours at a time on set to start because she'd just be taking phone calls or hanging out in her trailer or whatever. And this all culminated to a point where one day after a 2-hour wait, Holden reportedly grabbed Dunaway by the shoulders, pushed her into a soundstage wall and snapped, "You do that to me once more and I'll push you through that wall." And then they came together and worked on this.
Hey.
And apparently it was fine. There were no reported troubles, but people were like,
Great.
We really want to put these two together again. There's a
well, I imagine filming The Towering Inferno was a much more stressful and arduous process.
I would
seeing
gather
as it's
as
what
much.
3 directors and like 70, 100 people starring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. There's this really interesting interview with Lumet for AFI where he talks about how he and the cinematographer Owen Roisman would sit down and discuss how the lighting would change throughout the film. So that opening scene where the 2 men are out on the street after getting drunk, that's all practical lighting. Like, all of that is just what's on the street and then a little bit of light just to make sure it will be exposed. Like, that's it. Everything is super naturalistic writing. And then by the end, when you get to that scene in the office where they're all like, okay, how are we going to kill this guy? He says that it's staged like a commercial. The camera setups are static and framed like still pictures. The camera has become a victim of television. Like, everything about the way the movie is being shot morphs into being more and more fake and more staged. And like,
that makes sense. Like, right at the top, it felt so fluid in how it was moving around, and just a lot more like in the space. Mm-hmm. And then just kind of moving around people and through people, and then by the end, it's
very rigid. And he talks about like the particular filter they used for the Howard Beale show to get those like star flares on the lights to just make it look like this other world space. Like, it's such a, I'd never really heard somebody talk about having the lighting adjust to like the thematic relevance of the arc throughout the movie.
Again, it's like you hear about changing film stock, you hear about shooting different sequences on different films, like for a different effect thematically.
Yeah.
Changing ratio, but like the lighting is so interesting. That really rocks. I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I highly recommend going and reading the Criterion essay on the film by Jamel Bouie. I think it's really good. Like it's very well done. Read through that. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the table setting that I've got for this.
Very cool.
Yeah, we want to hop into.
I mean, yeah, let's just jump right in like the movie does.
Yep.
As I alluded to earlier, it's just like, this is the story of a guy.
What do you think of the framing device? What do you think of the narration?
Narration's interesting. I'm not against it because it never distracted me.
Yeah.
And it never took anything away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like the things that it added were interesting.
I agree.
When it would just
I like the formality of it. I like the structure that it gives.
Yes.
And it's like, its use in the beginning is very utilitarian, but it's all setting up for like the punchline at the end, right? Everything. I don't have a problem with the narration, but if you are someone who does, I would argue it's a necessary evil because that ending, that final line just works. Like,
well,
it's
like
great.
it's a news story.
Yeah.
The narration does make it seem like, a piece that someone has put together.
Right.
Which works.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
I was just really like, I was ready to settle in, and it just doesn't let you settle in. It's like, this is the story of this guy. Here's what's happening. He's being fired by his friend. They are out to drink. They are drunk. Let's go. And I was kind of like, do I need to remember all that? Do I need to rewind the movie?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, we're just pressing on.
Nope, just keep
I
going.
get it. And I mean this opening little 2 scenes with these 2 guys.
Yeah.
It's Max and Howard, right? Yeah. What do you make? What do you make of this as like an introduction to these guys and to the story at hand?
It's something that like, I don't know if this point is going to gel the way I want it to, but like you were talking about how these both look like real people, these are some 70s faces. And I think they absolutely are. And it's something that they sell both through their performance, because they're both very talented actors and doing a wonderful job, but just their actual age and their actual look sells the fact that these guys have been friends for a long time. Because you get this a lot in movies where it's like, oh, I've known so-and-so for ages. But, when it's John Krasinski and Chris Evans talking to each other, I'm like, you known each other for 20 years? Really? Yeah. Okay. Like, you've made yourself, you've worked very hard to look like you're 30 eternally.
Seeing the age on people helps you believe the time that has passed.
Yes, absolutely.
It's something that I thought about a lot to the, bringing up Friends of Eddie Coyle again for whatever reason. But seeing Mitchum in that is a movie that, because it features him as its star, and it's so rooted in what he did in his past as a mob boss.
Yeah.
It really works in the sense that you can imagine him as like younger Robert Mitchum in like 40s gangster movies. Like it really works in that way because you have and like, this is slightly different because obviously I'm not as familiar with these 2 guys. If it was like a Jimmy Stewart or a Cary Grant or a Paul Newman, then I would have that connection to them.
Yeah.
But even not knowing exactly their filmography, seeing them, you still get the sense that these are guys who have been working for a long time, and you can see the years on their faces.
Totally. I agree.
That really sells their connection if their connection is based on years that they've had together, right?
Yes. So this scene when they're in the bar specifically, like I 100% buy that. It's like, these are 2 very old friends who are dealing with a situation that just sucks for the both of them. It sucks for Max having to give his friend the boot. It sucks for Howard to be getting the boot,
Yeah.
But like that they're going to go out and drink about it together.
Which one of them pitches the death hour and like says that line? Is it Max?
I think it's Max, because Howard says, well, I guess I'll just kill myself. I'll just kill myself on the news. And they're like, and he's like, I love it. The death hour. Which
I love as our introduction to Max, a character that otherwise doesn't feel like he would ever be in Howard's corner about all of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, with how he gets kind of set up to be humiliated at that, at the dinner, you could still buy it without this, but like it's well paced and well set up of, okay, this guy when he's drunk is pitching the death hours. So clearly he's thinking about, like, he's pitching something that's funny to him, that is extremely morbid. And so then later, when he is betrayed by the network and ousted, basically, or before he's ousted, he's like, he lets Howard do his thing and it's been set up like these guys are friends. This guy is able to let loose,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. Yeah. So he they have their drunken night together and hang out at the bar, and then the next night it's business as usual. And again, I love Lumet's camera work. I will always love Lumet's camera work. And like the scene in the booth, watching Beale get into place over the monitors. We're shooting over the shoulders of like 4 different people at the operating board. And we see him announce that he's going to kill himself on TV the next day, and nobody bats an eye. Nobody says, like, they're just heads are down. They're like, okay, go to camera 3, camera 4. Like, yeah. And I love the slow, like, hey, did you hear that? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
And then the devolve into chaos that comes after that. Like, it's so well paced. Like, it feels perfectly timed out of the monotony. Like, we do such a good job of establishing the monotony of this program. And like the narration talks about how Howard Beale is the stately old man of the news hour, has been around for ages, lost his wife, his share dropped down. Went into depression, his share dropped down. And now it's like an all-time low. He's being let go because of that. And what we see in the operator's booth reflects that. Like, there is a sense of rigidity and staleness and boredom to the proceedings, to where they don't even, it takes them a minute to clock that something has changed, which I like. It does a lot of really great storytelling just from these performances and the way that they're shot and the pacing of the scene. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't disagree. And we're flying along for quite a bit at the top of this movie of like, we get to him saying he's going to kill himself very quickly, at which point we immediately go to the higher ups, having a meeting and being like, okay, so what are we going to do? Yeah. We have advertisers dropping, we need to let him go. We had this other guy who was going to come in. We're going to bring him in sooner, tomorrow or whatever, I guess they have the weekend, because this is
something like that.
Yeah. They like immediately are like, we're going to fire him. Yeah. And Max is the one who's like, no, let's let him say
let him say his goodbye first. Like, let him patch this up. Because he's initially resistant to that, but then Howard calls him and he's like, look, I think I just had a crack up. Like, I'm really sorry. This isn't the way I want it to go. Like, I don't want to end on this note. Can you please just let me say goodbye? And he says, yeah, okay, Howard, I'll let you do that. I'll put my neck out for you. And there's going to be a dinner that night. Is it before or after Howard's second outburst that we meet Diana?
I think it takes a little bit longer. Because I'm seeing here, I just pulled up the synopsis because I don't want to miss anything, really.
Yeah.
I think then basically we get the stockholders meeting, and we get the news and like them saying that the news division will no longer be an independent entity. It'll be split up amongst all these different things. And Max wasn't in on this plan, right?
Yeah, because then he goes back and Howard's going to apologize, and he immediately starts being like, I just ran out of bullshit. And everybody's like, cut him off, and Max says, no, let him go. Like,
yes.
And he's upset about what happened at the dinner. Yeah,
so he allows Beale to continue, and everyone's like, we're getting a lot of calls, and he's like, let him call, like, fuck him.
Yeah.
At which point Ed hauls Max into his office, and Max is like, you shouldn't have kept me in the dark. And he's like, well, I was going to tell you tomorrow that we're keeping you on. Like, I told you to hold on, and you couldn't. So I'm going to need your resignation tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where we meet Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because then we go to Diana the next day.
Yeah.
Having the meeting.
And she's fixated on this. Like she is in.
Well, she hasn't heard about it yet. Has she?
No, I think she has, because they're in her office and her cronies are pitching her scripted stuff, and she's like, I don't care. Do you see this? Do you see what happened?
Well, no, her first meeting is the first time we meet her. She's in a dark room watching the footage of the bank robbery.
That's right. You're correct. Yes, that is right.
With the guy who looks like Martin Scorsese to me, like young Marty. And then she takes him into the office, brings in her 3 cronies or whoever, and is like, he's got real footage of this group.
Yeah.
So
we're going to write a show about this
We're going to write a show about this, and we're going to have actual footage before everything. And can you get me a meeting with Leanna? What's her name?
Yeah, whoever got her, like, who was his source for the film stuff?
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's where we go with her first.
Yep.
And then it isn't until the next day that she sees the newspaper about, because then that's when she brings it to, whoever, and she's like, look, all these things just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
But this is the front page story. Is Beale saying bullshit.
Yeah.
Right, on air and all this stuff. And then she goes to Max. And that's where she's like, I want your guy.
Yeah. And
also, a seer told me that I was going to get emotionally involved with a middle-aged man.
Yeah. Which is like, I know
would you
that
have guessed Holden is in this movie?
That's my thing. I don't know. So let's see. You know?
Yeah. But how old would you have guessed he was?
64.
He's like 56.
That's crazy. That's insane.
He's like the same age as my dad.
Because I was about to say, like, calling him middle-aged feels so funny to me when I watch this movie. And I'm like, okay, like, he looks like he's pushing 70.
But he was middle-aged.
Okay.
He just looks like he's pushing 70.
Yeah, just people looked older then.
As all men did back then.
Yeah.
So that's where Diana... Diana goes to Hackett first. She goes to Duvall first. And she's like, I want control of Beale's show. That his show can pull UBS out of the hole, because UBS is super in debt, right? And Hackett is like, if he messes up, like if this doesn't work, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And she ultimately wins him over. And just seeing Dunaway and Duvall just like do that scene, just them playing such despicable yet funny people.
Yeah,
is so fun. Like I almost just want to pull that scene up again, just because it's like Duvall just has such a fun energy of like initially pushing back so much, and then when she starts to get through to him, the way that he plays it is so funny to me.
Yeah,
and then we get that great scene where he sits down with all those execs, and they're eating the greenest salad I've ever seen.
So
and I was like,
funny.
do we have to change the setting on the TV? It looks so green. And that guy stands up and he's like, because he says, we're a whorehouse network.
Yeah.
And he's like, I will not be
the president of a whorehouse. Yeah.
And he's like, sit down. Like, you can always turn in your resignation tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then that's when this all comes back to Max, right?
Yes,
yeah,
because they hear the numbers, they hear Diane's pitch, Frank passes that on to everybody else. And so then Max gets a call from Ruddy, who says,
yes,
hey, we're actually moving forward with this Beale thing. It's something that, like, I think about whenever I watch this movie. Like, both times I've seen it, it's just a huge point for me of, like, just illustrating in full light the hypocrisy of these people at every single turn. Of Ruddy is so incensed at what Max has done. He's like, look, we've been friends for 40 years, but I need your resignation tomorrow. And then the second it becomes profitable, the second the people upstairs tell him it's okay, he goes to Max. He's like, Max, I really need you in my corner. Like, you've been my friend for a really long time. I'd love it if you
reconsidered your resignation.
Yeah. And immediately Max is like, yeah, of course I'd do that. Like, it's just like, okay, you guys have no spine. You have no scruples whatsoever.
Well, but there's also that great scene before Ruddy calls him, where he finds out because they're all having this big farewell with him. Because
Yes.
because he's telling the big story about
Don't do it, kid. You've got so much to live for.
He's going to the George Washington Bridge, and Howard's in that room, and then this guy comes in and is like, well, I just heard that Howard's back, and they all laugh.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, he's back. They're literally going to bring him back. And Howard
want him to do his angry man thing.
But Howard celebrates, and then he goes, wait, but really? Like he's even still playing it. And he's like, I think I can do that. I can be mad for money.
And he asks Max, he's like, what do you think? He's like, I don't think we need to do it. I think we walk away. I think we're done. And Howard's like, I don't know. I don't want to walk away. I'm not ready to retire yet. Like, if they want me, I want them. And so Max says, sure, then go for it. Do it. Like, if that's what you want to do, I'll support you in that.
Yeah. And then they call him and are like, and you're coming back too. You're staying too.
Yes. That's right.
And then at a certain point, we get Diana to come in. And what do you make of the relationship between Max and Diana in this?
Max and Diana's relationship is my half-star ding on this movie. Like,
because you just don't like...
No, I like... Diane's character is so interesting. And I love, like, his monologue at the end, tearing her to pieces and being like, you don't feel anything. Like, it's great writing. It's great performances. It's that I don't think that Max earns the right to be that moral mouthpiece in this movie. I'm like, you're a piece of shit. Like, I think you're like, the movie goes out of its way to highlight so many other people's hypocrisies. And the most he gets is that his wife yells at him. And then at the end of that scene is like, but we're going to work it out. And you just need to go figure this whole thing out and do your thing. And I'm like,
but also when he's breaking up with Diana, he says, well, I'm going to crawl back to my wife and try to convince her to love me again, and it won't work. Like, he says it's not going to work.
I get that. I don't like... I like everything that subplot has to say about Diana, and I don't think it's mean enough to Max, is where I'm at with it.
Sure. I don't ever find him sympathetic, so I never felt that the movie needed to convince me to not sympathize for him or feel that he was going to be good.
Sure.
Like, I just was like, everyone in this movie sucks. That was just kind of my general understanding. So at no point was I like, they need to convince me that Max is a piece of shit. Because I was like, yeah.
I see what
you're saying, that it's not textual, but
yeah, it's not textual for me, but it's mostly just that I'm so much more interested in everything else in this movie. Every time we cut to their B plot, I'm like, okay, all right. Except for that final scene.
But I love their first dinner together. Because that really establishes how much they're both pieces of shit. Yeah. Because she's like, her specific line is great, but she's like, I have a father complex. Like, I'm a young woman with a father complex, and you're an old man who, whatever.
Yeah.
But I love the way that she's like, are you married? And he goes, yeah. And then he's like, she's in with the kids, with the grandparent or something. Or like, he says, she's like, is she in town?
Yeah.
And he says, he
says yes, and she says, we better go to my place.
And she says, we better go to my place. And I think that alone, the fact that Max says yes, and she says, let's go to my place, and then they have this like affair. Right. I see what you're saying, that it's not textual, but to me, I'm like, his behavior is enough for me to be like, and the fact that at the end he's like, I'm gonna crawl back to her and see if she'll love me again, and she probably won't. Like, that you're. I see your point that like he doesn't. Like, does he really have like an inciting incident for him to be like Diana? No.
That's it's like not especially. Like, that's the thing, is that like we start to see the cracks when he comes home and she's on the phone yelling about how the Beale show is tanking, and he's like, I don't want to write this goddamn book. I don't want to, like, that's really like. And I know that, like, we get the montage of her talking his ear off while they're on all these excursions, and then they have sex. But, like, as far as him being dissatisfied with this whole thing, you get some inklings of it when he talks to his wife, where he's like, I don't think she's capable of feeling anything. She was raised by TV. She's a Bugs Bunny generation, all that stuff. It's mostly, like, it's not even that, like, I need them to prove to me that he sucks, because I know he sucks. It's just the way he carries himself and the way the film seems to side with his takedown of Diane, for some reason catches me. I'm like, you don't get to be the moral voice of this movie. Like, why are you the, like, I'm not even sure I can properly express what it is.
I see what you're saying. I guess my only point against that, and it's, again, we're not arguing.
Sure.
Parker. This isn't a fight.
But it can
I
be.
love you.
I love
No,
you too.
Parker, no, it can't be.
But no,
That's
like,
the
if
whole
no,
point.
truly, like,
My
I
point
can't
being,
fully
like,
articulate what I want to say.
Like, I don't think the movie is necessarily posturing him as the moral voice.
Mhm.
It's him literally ending their relationship.
Yeah.
And like, it just so happens that he says things that are correct about Diana, but I still don't think the movie's going, and the whole point of this relationship was for someone to tell Diana that she sucks. I go, no, that is just a natural thing that comes about
I could see that.
to
That's
the
a good
relationship not
point.
being able
That's a
to
good
work.
point.
Like, I don't think that the overall message of the movie is so rooted in Diana is what's wrong.
Yeah.
That I don't think it needs to be as big as the moral. He doesn't need to be the moral voice because there doesn't need to be.
Sure.
Because the moral posturing of the movie is, this man was killed because his ratings were low.
Right.
Like, the moral posturing of the movie is the entire cast. It's the entire situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I think, like, I see what you're saying, but I think I just didn't put that much weight on their plot.
Yeah, I get that.
I saw it as a means to explore them as characters, but I don't think that the moral messaging of the movie is ultimately so rooted in Diana's faults that I feel that way. But I totally also hold space for you to feel that way.
I think that's a very good point, though.
Yeah. That being said, I just found it so, like, him calling her, she was raised on TV. She's the Bugs Bunny generation.
Yeah.
Is so funny just for something I had never considered, which is like, and this is a funny, a silly comparison, but like when I just like hang out or talk to someone who is 6 years younger than me, who's like on the younger side of Gen Z, I'm just like, this is so exhausting that I don't think I could ever hang out with you.
That's
and
fair.
To see that reflected in like guy who was born in the 1920s about, like, it's just funny to see like these generational remarks removed from boomers and millennials and Gen Z, because it is just funny. I don't know. I just got a real kick out of that. Man, pretty fun, their weird little relationship. Crazy when we see them like go to bed together. Like I was like, yeah, I get they're in a relationship, but they're doing that. Like I was like,
well, and I do love the way that like she sets that up in the first dinner. She's like, I've been told I'm a terrible lay. I'm too masculine. Like
yes.
I climax early. I'm exhausted
I'm
easily.
ready to get out of bed.
I'm ready to get out of bed and put my clothes back on.
She's saying a version of like the Harry Burns.
Yeah. And then seeing that play
Stuff.
out in real time is so funny.
It is
of
so
just
funny.
like, it is, that's something that people at the time, not just about Diana, but about the whole film, like Pauline Kael famously didn't like this movie and felt that it was way too over exaggerated and way too preachy. And like that scene with Diane, you can see a bit of what she's talking about, where it's like, okay, this is a woman who literally orgasms to ratings. Like that is the level of satire that we're operating at. But I think it works.
And yet I just think that anyone who's ever said that a satire is too on the nose, history always proves those people wrong.
Okay.
Every movie that someone has said this is too on the nose, 50 years later we go, no, they were right.
Yeah.
Especially looking now, I'm like, no, there are like people out there who probably orgasm to their Instagram follower count.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, it's a very good point.
So I'm like, I think that those people have always existed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or rather, the media, like that mid-century media shift created these people.
Right. And
we are now 50 years on seeing satirical characters from network in actual life.
Yeah.
Existing. Like, I think that's what it is, right? Like now, like this is a satire from the 70s that blows these ideas up, and 50 years on, what they were satirizing has just mutated into what the satire was.
Right. Like I think about like the body set decorating of the Howard Beale show and these super like obnoxious oval set pieces that spin around for each of these segments, and just how kitschy the whole thing looks with the stained glass and all of that. And then it's like, yeah, and like that's most people's like talk show setup on YouTube, you know, is something that level of like big old American flag, 2 guns crossed, like it is, you know, like fully that.
We now exist in a world that is a satire that was written 50 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
The technology has changed and evolved, but the satire has remained the same. It's just now that's our reality.
Totally.
And so I just think that God forbid Pauline Kael was wrong about something. God bless her.
Listen, man. One of these days, I want the copy people have made of the T-shirt George Lucas wore while filming Phantom Menace of the Pauline Kael review, just printed out of the original Star Wars. I'm like, that's such a good T-shirt, man.
That's really good. That's awesome. So yeah, again, Diana went to Max and was like, "Do you want to develop Howard's show?" And he was like, "No, but I do
personal relationship.
Recognize that you are Faye Dunaway."
Yes.
So when that's what it is. No, Max tells Diana, let's end Howard's, the Angry Man format can't last because they do it.
That's right.
And the ratings don't stay up.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can't carry it. He doesn't have that rage in him. And then Christensen, that's when Diana goes to Frank.
Yeah.
And is like, let's slot the evening news show under the entertainment division so that I can develop it. That's right. We got those.
Yeah, she steals the show from Max. That's right.
Yes. So Frank bullies the UBS executives. That's when he does that. Yep. So that we were right.
Ruddy has a heart attack, so now Frank is fully in control.
Yes.
And I love that scene where he's just screaming at Max and just laying into him. He's like, I'm going to do what I've been wanting to do this entire time. You're out. You're done. Get out of here before noon. I want you out of here get out of here by noon. Actually, no, get out of here before noon. Like,
yeah.
I just love watching Robert Duvall just go ham on somebody.
He's really good in it.
He's really, really great.
So that night it's very stormy. Howard hasn't shown up yet. And they're like, what are we going to do?
Because it's that he keeps staying over at Max's place and he's sleeping on the couch. Yes. And we have the scene, I totally forgot the scene earlier on, where he's lying in bed, I think at his own apartment at this point, and he's talking to somebody. He's like, he's just muttering in the dark. He's like, why me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then he relates that on TV later. And he's like, and I said, you know, I don't believe in God. And he says, who said anything about God? I'm not God and you're not Moses. You know, why me? Because you're on television, dummy.
Dummy? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But he keeps getting more and more frantic. He gets like clearly.
He does. He's
clearly something is wrong. Something like he is mentally ill. And so he stumbles out. Yeah. And Max keeps warning people. He's like, he needs help. Like, you're exploiting this. You are exploiting my friend's illness for your own
imagine
gain.
Exploiting someone with a mental illness for views and money.
Crazy. Who could do such a thing?
Couldn't be America.
Couldn't be America. But Howard walks out of the house in the middle of the night in like a vision stupor.
Yes.
And
I do love Max's wife waking up in the morning, and then just the way that she comes back to bed and is like, you should wake up. Howard's not here. And he immediately wakes up. Howard's gone. And so that night, they're like, where is Howard? No one's heard from him all day. We don't know where he is. He arrives.
And that's when that's why Max gets fired, is that he's in the office with Hackett. And he's like, what do you mean you lost him? Like, where is he?
Yes.
And that's when that whole exchange happens. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And so that night they're like, where is he? Is he even going to show up? He does. He's soaked from the rain. They have to sit him down immediately. Well, no, they have a guy sitting there doing a news report. They go to the piece, like, you know, the pre-shot. They swap him out for Howard. And then he comes back. And this is, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Yeah. What was the scene like after, like, knowing that having seen it, knowing it existed? What was your experience?
I never knew what the
finally?
context was, and there's just an element of delight knowing what's coming. Like this is one of those situations where knowing the scene vaguely, I was just really excited.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't know the scene, you still have this sense of anticipation of like, okay, like we're continuing with this, and he's only going to get crazier.
Yeah.
A little more wild, a little more bonkers. And like, the thing is that the thing that this movie's tapping into is what Diana says, is that everyone in America is sick of bullshit. They're sick of, posturing as if things are okay when no one feels okay. Everyone's angry. Everyone's depressed. Everyone is bored. And so, like, there is something about this movie that does speak to me in that way. Like, Howard telling everyone to open their windows, stick their heads out, and yell, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore," does resonate with me as someone who is alive in 2026.
Yeah.
Of like, we do need that. I think.
Yeah.
I think
so.
But that's what I mean. Did I say this on mic, or did I just say it before we started recording? I just don't think that would work today. Because it would inevitably be a clip from a podcast. I mean, my review was joking about Howard Beale existing in the modern era. But like, it would be a clip from a podcast where this man is saying this, and it removed from context. Yeah. People would just share it and be like, "Lol, what is he talking about? He's just yapping. Bro is just yapping." Because we have no capability to actually connect with things. Sorry, apparently this is what I'm talking about on the network episode. But like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
totally.
We don't exist within a context, so it's very hard for people to get emotionally invested in anything. We are so removed from stuff like this that, like, the thing is that what was once Twitter, but is now just all social media, is everyone saying, "I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore." The difference is that it's only in a tiny box that only exists in the air, that also connects everyone's thoughts, and therefore it has no physical impact on the world.
Right.
So like, everyone is constantly saying, "I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore," but it's not genuine, and it's not, and there's always someone who quote tweets it and goes, "Lol, bro, mad."
Right. And that's the thing, even about this moment and this movie, is that I've seen so often people take this scene and snippets of this clip out of the context of the movie as like, yes, this, like, unfiltered, this is it. Like, this is how we're all feeling. This is what we need to express. And the movie itself is like grappling with that, because it like, yes, in context of the scene, it does start out as being very true, of just like, everything's going to hell. We can't trust each other anymore. We're shut up in our own houses. Everything's getting smaller. But as he's going, like, Beale is not an everyman. Beale is a man. And if you're looking at that speech, he's still slipping in things that he believes, right? He's like, punks are running crazy in the streets. Like, nobody says hello anymore. Like, it's just, it is portrayed as being this universal truth. And when you boil it down, it is still just one guy airing his grievances. Yes. And it's so interesting that people try to take it out of the context the way that the people in the movie do, of like, well, no, it's this universal cry. Because the feeling is, like, I think we've just always felt as Americans a sense of, "I'm mad as hell." I think that's probably just true of humans. Totally. And like, and yet you're absolutely right. Like, and that's kind of, I was framing it kind of as people tend to mistakenly, which is like, this isn't actually a revolutionary moment. Yeah. Because ultimately it is still someone just airing their grievances. It's so specific. Right, but like, it does such a good like, I love this scene because of exactly that double-edged sword, though, of like, if you remove it from the context, it is exactly how all of us are feeling, right? Yes. Especially in 2026. Like, there is a nugget of truth to this thing that remains relevant 50 years later. But like the movie and like the characters in the film, if you remove it from the context and just whitewash it down to that universal thing, you miss everything else going on there. And suddenly you are removing yourself from the inherent biases of the person who's saying all of this.
And let's talk about the communists in this movie.
Yes. That's another piece of my kind of half star.
What?
We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry about it.
I'm mad as hell, Parker. No, but let's talk about it right now, because I just think it's worth talking about if we're talking about the themes of the movie. Or do you want to move forward a little bit?
No, it seems like, and I do not have all of the proper verbiage for this, but they talk about it in the Criterion essay, which I liked as well, and I can't find exactly where it is, of like the film has a certain, like, there are a couple swipes that Chayefsky is taking at the left that he clearly doesn't like, the ultra left and protests and anything like that. Sure. And so there's some of that going on here.
Sure. And okay, fair enough.
Yes,
I can
that's
see
what I'm
star.
talking about. Yeah.
But I think that the thing that resonated with me and why I don't see that as a problem is because what he's describing is the fact that anyone will sell out in America.
Yes, that's no
like, one is immune, and that's what I want to bring up.
Yes,
because Diana goes to LA and meets with this group, right, with the Ecumenical Liberation Army.
Yes, for
a new docudrama series, and like they have that. I mean, there's that thing where she says, Diana's like, what does she say? She's like, I'm a cold, heartless network executive, blah blah blah, and
I'm a racist.
Can we find names?
The system.
Yeah, and like they see each other and then they go and have this conversation.
Yes,
and I didn't really know where that was going. Sorry, you look like you have a lot to say.
No, just that, like, about this, like, this scene is what they're talking about in the Criterion essay. To that point, we see Diana try to hash out a deal with the Ecumenical Liberation Army in a farcical scene of hard-nosed negotiation between a television producer and a group of communist radicals, painted in such broad strokes that it reads as outright satire, parentheses, with not a small amount of contempt for the style and posturing of the far left in that historical moment from Chayefsky. Sure. That, like, Chayefsky's portrayal of the communists and the liberators is like, man, these fucking punks, these morons, these idiots,
Yeah.
But then landing on the fact that, like, any political, like, I do love later on in the film her screaming at Diane about, like, you're not going to take my percentage points,
The scene in which they're having a meeting
at the house,
the great Ahmed
Khan.
Khan.
Yeah.
And they're arguing about what they're going to get contractually, and all of their, like, white lawyers in suits are there.
Yes.
And Walter Cronkite's daughter, who plays Marianne Guilford, is there. And, like, they are arguing about money.
Yeah.
I was laughing out loud that entire scene.
That scene is so funny.
Because that, to me, like, I understand that Chayefsky's politics might get in the way of people being able to enjoy it, but for me, it achieves such a high for me.
It's like where it gets to. Absolutely. I think it's the initial setup. I'm not crazy about his portrayal. Like it's the offhand, and it's like what they're all liberation groups. No, that's this liberation group. Like, it's that stuff. But I like this scene in the house is one of my favorites in the movie. Like, it's just that's what I said to Ellie. I was like, the fact that they're having this conversation in a house without walls is so funny to me.
And, like, just what Network is, and this gets to the Max and Diana thing and all of this, is like, the point is not that, wow, these people suck. The point is, that is a huge part of it, but the point is that this is, whether it's intentional by Chayefsky or not, this is a system encouraged by capitalist, kind of rabid capitalist pursuit that infects everyone in America. So even Howard touching on a truth, which is, I'm mad as hell and I can't take this anymore, and people screaming that out of their windows into the night.
Right.
Like, even though that's happening, what Howard becomes is still sold out. He has a TV hour that is completely manufactured with filters that make all the lights look like stars. And he gives us, like, a sermon about corporate buyout and collapses afterward, and everyone applauds.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about something similar to this. We're going to talk about this with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Because what I think Network is basically saying, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is inherent. And it's what I'm talking about with people quote tweeting someone's genuine political thoughts and just being able to say, lol, bro, mad.
Yeah.
Because the best way to neutralize a genuine, accurate point is to buy it out or to sell it out, right? To whatever that may be. Yeah. So Howard is making some good points.
Right.
He starts, I mean, I think we can talk about that too, as your review alluded to, like him talking about how corporate buyout works. And like, again, he leans into his own biases of like, the Saudis are buying America. They're buying our country.
Right.
But he's still touching on these truths every once in a while, but they have no impact because no one is really actually listening.
Yeah.
Or they are, because that's one thing that I'm a little confused on, is he tells everyone to call their congressman and cancel this buyout of UBS. And it works. So clearly he is influencing people.
Yeah.
And yet also every time I see him doing his show, I don't get the sense that anyone is really genuinely right.
Well, they're buying into the outrage, because that's what happens is that, you know, jumping around as we've been doing, but like that's, you know, when he has his meeting with Arthur Jenkins and he puts the wrath of God on him and shows him the light, he then comes around and he comes back, he's like, that was democracy at work. You all did beautifully. Wasn't that wonderful? But hey, guess what? Democracy dead. The individual is dead, and that's what I've learned, and that's what I'm here to tell you. And then it tanks. Like, what people are buying into is the outrage, is the Bible thumping, like, fire and brimstone delivery of like, it is so much more entertaining and engaging to listen to somebody yell about and be angry about something and give you a call to action rather than have somebody say, well, nothing does, like, everything doesn't matter. Like, nihilism doesn't sell.
Which, you know, I could get really political right now and say that something that, see, this is so annoying. I'm going to sound like the most annoying person in the world. I read a Substack article that was talking about an interview between Trevor Noah and Zohran Mamdani. But basically what it boils down to is this concept that the left in America currently, or rather the central liberals, you know, who claim they are the left, the Democrats of America, have a problem in which they don't have any faith behind their movement.
Yeah.
They fundamentally can't get people engaged because there is no faith. Not necessarily a religious faith,
right,
but just a faith that things can get better is non-existent on that side because they have ceded so much ground to, well, you know, things are bad. And we don't believe, and we don't have faith. We're not going to talk about God.
Yeah.
So we just are kind of trying to get you to be involved in something that is inherently nihilistic. Meanwhile, the right is fully embracing faith in God, faith in their politicians, faith in their movement, and it's all yelling, rage, fire, and brimstone. And that is kind of how they win.
Yeah.
Is because one side is this dreary nihilist, like, and you know, it's an uphill battle and we're probably going to lose, but we can at least compromise on something.
Yeah.
Versus people who are saying, we will not compromise. And we are angry.
Yeah.
And like that is something that Network is also tapping into, which is why I think it feels so relevant.
Totally. 100%.
And like getting back to like this idea of like what Howard is doing at times feels like the ending of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yeah, he feels like he's
massive speech until he collapses. He's filibustering his point. And everyone applauds, but it's all fake and staged.
Yeah.
And so I do think it taps into something there.
Yeah.
Too, right? This feeling of like, even if you make such a good political point, our country inherently only is interested in your point if it's making money for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's so hard for us to have any sort of revolutionary moment because there will always be someone either undermining it for just like whatever, for nihilistic reasons, or undermining it for financial reasons. And then I'll leave it there.
Yeah, no, that's very, very well put points, I think, like, and very, like, it's very accurate to the film's message into the current situation of the world. And like, what's so interesting, I love that parallel you're drawing between this and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and like the hiccup Lumet puts into that is that shot from the television camera's POV of it zooming in on his unconscious body. Like, that single shot is just like, oh, this is like, none of this matters. Like, none of what he has just said matters, because we're just going to do the MTV zoom in TMZ, look at this guy who just passed out.
And I think that's why this movie so accurately portrays the death of what media, like the power of media.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to have media make an impact. And that has only been a problem that has only gotten worse. But it's because it is undermined by spectacle.
Yeah.
And humor and God, anyway.
Well, it's so interesting too, like when you look at, we never get to see what the rest of the show looks like, right? We only ever see Howard Beale segments, but we see the opening of them.
We do.
And what's so interesting about it is that, like, what is being packaged and what is being commodified around this anger is pseudoscience and tabloid gossip.
Yes.
And like
spiritualism.
Like, it's so interesting that that's what Diane is packaging in with all of this.
Because she took a news program and turned it into entertainment. And I love the pitch she has of like, well, what if we brought in Sybil the soothsayer, and she could predict what's going to happen, and that's the show. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so like
poly markets. Like,
oh, I see. So like poly markets. Oh, so like AI, just people being like, what's going to happen?
Like the robot, like whatever that computer is when they turn the fourth thing around, the yes, no, maybe, or whatever. I'm like, what is that? What on earth is that?
We know what it is, Parker.
Vox Populi, is that the name of it?
Yes, I think so. Yes. I mean, all of these sound like they'd be great Jackbox games. I can't lie.
Sure. That's a very good point.
All right. So
anyway,
we've
back
jumped around a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think is fine.
Sure.
Because I think it's been a good discussion. But I mean, so how, like, as we mentioned, Howard urges his audience to pressure the White House to quash the deal. Oh yeah, he said, call the president.
Call the president. I want them
White
drowning
House.
in telegrams. And this is happening at the same time as this huge CCA meeting. They're having this giant powwow of like, look how much money we've made. We're number 4 this year. We're number 1 next year. We're going all the way.
Yes.
And so because they're out in California doing all this. The show's back in New York.
The show is aired 2 hours later in California. Yes. So by then it's been out. It has aired 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, whatever.
Yes.
And so watching, because Frank gets the call, right?
Frank gets the call.
Duvall plays it so well.
I think my favorite performance from him is the scene immediately following this, where he and Diane and the station the network president are sitting in the booth trying to figure out what to do, and he's like, I was the sun god in there. I was the heir apparent, and now I'm done. I'm finished. And him just ranting. He's like, I'm gonna stab him. I'm gonna skewer him through with a spike. And just marching back and forth as Diane's like trying to talk him through what to do, and he's just not listening.
It's good. It's really good. At which point, then after this, Arthur Jensen arranges the meeting with Beale, and we get Ned Beatty's massive raining hellfire scene.
The way this scene is shot, like that, just down the table. It's so good. And just like Beatty's physicality performances, there's an exactness in the way he's moving his hands between each idea that like I'm obsessed with. It's so good. And like we were talking about it's so funny to me how incredible he is at that switch of he's so intense and he's screaming at him and then gets back to jovial, like almost like Superman level Ned's Beatty's of like, am I getting through to you? Does this make sense? It's just so jovial, and approachable, and it's just incredible. And the button on the end of the scene of Howard saying, I've seen the face of God. And Jenkins goes, I think you have. He says, but why me? Because you're on television, dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... And, I love the implication of, okay, is that Jenkins referring back to the thing he talked about on air. Is that literally saying that Jenkins has some tap into like it just is it just
communication?
It's just I love that little button that he has on it. It's so good.
It is like it. And that's what I think that's what's so fun about this movie going so broad and big with its satire is that you can have a scene that's a little, you can read it as either just like he's just referencing what he knows Howard said before. You can just see it as a coincidence.
Yeah.
But also it's like, this is such a big, broad satire that you can be like, well, the message is that Jensen as the chairman of CCA is so powerful that he was able to break into Howard's brain in the night. Like,
right.
and that doesn't feel unsound in this movie because that is kind of what it's doing. Like that's in line with the messaging. Right. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I just love that, even setting aside like potential supernatural. Could this be a ghost movie?
Yes. Could this be a ghost movie?
But even just setting that aside, textually, like what it is like the voice that told Howard to do what he needed to do. Mm-hmm. He said, well, are you God? And the voice in his head said, no, I'm not God. And you're not Moses.
Yeah.
Versus Arthur Jensen, CCA chairman, Howard compares him to God and he accepts that comparison.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you might
That's the difference, right? It's
yeah.
This is like previously it was like the inner workings of Howard's broken mind couldn't even say I'm God.
Yeah.
But Ned Beatty as Arthur Jensen will gladly say, maybe. Right? Like, that's kind of interesting to me, too.
It's fascinating, too, watching, like, because, like, the scene, right, like, leading into this of Frank leading Howard up the stairs, and he just starts yelling at people. He, like, has to, like, get him to shut up in the middle of this giant, you know, rotunda. It pulls into stark relief, like, that they have taken the dude on the corner with his big cardboard sign saying the end is nigh, and they gave him a 50% share. Like, that's great. Like, in that moment, you're like, oh, this is actually insane, isn't it? Like, when you've pulled him out of this grand chapel you've built for him on the film set and away from the lights, and there's just two random dudes he's yelling at about, like, being a prophet, it really is just like, oh my God, they're just exploiting this man's delusions.
Yeah. No, they totally are.
Yeah, it just does such a good job of illustrating that.
Which brings up for me, can't remember when exactly it is, but when Howard arrives at UBS and the doorman says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Beale," and Howard says, "I must make my witness," and he says, "Sure thing, Mr.
Sure
Beale."
thing, Mr. Beale. Yes.
It's
how you doing,
so
Mr.
funny.
Beale? I must make my witness.
Sure thing,
like Mr. Beale.
Oh man. Yeah.
So he comes back. He tells everybody, "Hey,
his show is tanking.
Democracy's dead.
His heart's not in it. He's been made to be a nihilist.
He's a mouthpiece now.
He's a mouthpiece. He's a nihilist
for
mouthpiece.
the CCA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you know, we kind of check back in. There was that brief long period where they weren't. There's that brief period where Max and Diana weren't together. And then they run into each other again on the street and they re-engage. And that's when his wife finds out.
They're at Ruddy's funeral, I think, is where they meet
up.
Yeah.
And then they re-engage and that's when
the affair
Max's
starts.
Max's wife
proper.
finds out and they have that big interaction.
Yeah.
Which she plays very well.
She does. Like, it's crazy how she, again, visibly aged actors can carry a lifetime behind their eyes. And like you feel 30 years of marriage behind her words in such a great way. Like, it makes sense she won the Oscar.
The way that she says something like 25 years and 2 kids. And I think that the scene is paced and written very well, of her initial rage at this and how she's talking to him and then coming down from it and being like, well, okay, but like, what are you going to do? And who is she? And he tells her about her. And she's like, okay, well, it sounds like you're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah.
Which I think is nice. Like, I understand that it's also like, oh man, she's really just like now talking to him like it's normal. But also that feels also pretty real to me.
Sure.
In their relationship. I don't know. Like, it's not forgivable. It's not like I'm like, so Max is fine. But I'm like,
right.
But
it feels true to life.
It feels true to life that she is also like, I know you so well.
Yeah.
That I know that this isn't going to last and you're going to have a lot to do, because she sounds like a handful or whatever she says.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't seem excited about it. And then later, Diana has just continued to be like, every time they're together, she's just going on and on and on about.
I think you talking about that has hit upon another piece of what is catching for me about this is that, like,
please share.
We do such a good job of illustrating his doubts that I don't understand why he's doing this. Like, I really, like,
Sure.
I don't feel like I have a way into understanding why does he care? Like, he says that he's obsessed with her. He says that he's in love with her. But I don't see that at any point. All I ever see from him is his trepidation, is his like, man, I don't know, she doesn't feel anything, but she's hot, I guess. And like, that doesn't feel like enough justification for me to then get to the point where he's like, I feel lousy about what I'm doing to my wife and kids. And it's like, okay, but you felt lousy to begin with. Like, nothing changed. I think that's it. I think that's part of what sticks in my craw with it.
My only rebuttal to that, Faye Dunaway, Parker. It's Faye Dunaway. They cast her very specifically.
That's fair.
If it was anyone else, I'd be like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. Faye Dunaway, I go, compels me though. So audiences aren't liking Howard's new sermons.
Yeah, they're not buying it anymore.
And so they decide.
Well, because they try to out him, and Frank is like, Mr. Jenkins has made it very clear to me he would not be pleased if Howard Beale went off the air. Like, Jenkins has put up a wall. We cannot do anything to get him off the air. We cannot fire him. We can't pull his time.
To which they basically decide, well, then the only solution is to kill him.
And like, I'm pretty sure it's Frank he brings it up first, where he's like, well, I guess the question is how we're going to kill him. And it just, you wait, and like the pause is almost for laughter. And when it doesn't come, you're like, oh no, they're being dead serious about this. And they're talking about it like they've been talking about market shares the whole time. It's like, well, you know, we gotta check this out. And it's only the station president who at the very end, he goes, what we're talking about is like a federal crime. We need to make sure we can't trace it back to us. Like, that's really the only, like, and it's not like, we shouldn't be doing this. It's just, we make sure that we're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And Diane suggests that she's going to hire the communists to kill him for the station.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they do. And like, I really love the overlapping dialogue from the meeting room of Diane talking about how this is going to go. And hey, actually, like, this could be really good for us. Like, you know, this could be really big. Like, I'm sure we'll get up a few percentage points from something this sensational. And that being played over everybody shuffling in and all the people getting settled. And we kind of focus in on the guy who clearly has the gun. And like, it's, I don't know. I really like the final sequence of this movie and how it's edited and put together.
Yeah.
And then the repetition of the shooting, I really love, like the like 4-shot of like gun out, bullet to head, bullet to gut, fall down.
Yeah. Because that also feels like that's how they would shoot it economically to get the most out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a TV production, they would shoot it with 4 cameras, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I did just realize, I was like, I actually think that I just want to go back and read a little bit of Max's goodbye to Diana, because I do just want, this is something we've been coming back to. So I'm sorry to backtrack.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I want to come back to the shooting. But I just wanted to say what I think I really like most about Max's goodbye to her.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to raise as, you asking of like, well, what puts him to this point that he's so miserable that now he's saying goodbye when it seems like he's been miserable this whole time. But for Max, he says, there's nothing left in you that I can live with. You're one of Howard's humanoids. If I stay with you, I'll be destroyed. Like Howard Beale was destroyed, like Lorraine Hobbs was destroyed. And to me, that makes it feel more like self-preservation, which I like as an angle.
Sure.
I don't know. This is something I wanted to bring up.
No, that's good.
And he calls her television incarnate, which I think is the meanest thing you could ever say. And indifferent to suffering, insensitive to joy. Yeah. Anyway, it's more of a takedown of TV than anything else.
Totally. And it's like, it's a great, like, if we're focusing in on that relationship, I do love this closing scene. And like, he rips into her all this stuff. And he says, she's like, well, what do you want me to do about it, Howard? He says, I just need you to love me. And then the phone rings. Yeah. And she says, I'll be with you in a minute. It's just like, cool, it's over, it's done. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's good. Anyway, I just wanted to highlight a little bit more of that because also it is a takedown of TV as well. Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of his version of Howard's initial breakdown. Mm-hmm. Right? Of like, he's been working in TV for so long, since, since the 50s. And now he's like, he hates television now. Mm-hmm. And therefore he hates Diana, and he hates Howard, and he hates everything that, it corrupted. So maybe it is more of a moral posturing than I thought, which we could talk about more, but I want to get back to the shooting because they shoot him. Yeah, they shoot him, and then we're back to the 4 TV setup. And I love the commercials starting to play. Like, it starts with all the news coverage of the shooting. Yes. And then that news coverage is getting replaced with popsicle ads and sunscreen. And all of these things, and one by one they go out, and it's just him left in the corner with the shooting, and the narrator comes back in. This was the story of Howard Beale, the first known instance of a man who was killed because he had lousy ratings. And that's the end of Network. That's the end of Network. It's pretty perfect. Yeah. As an ending. I would argue you'll agree with me. I'm not going to do the bit about your 4.5. It's pretty perfect as a movie. Absolutely. Like, genuinely, like, my half star are so much about personal problems rather than personal problems. Yeah, that's Absolutely. It. Like, it has nothing to do with the quality of the film because it is pretty perfect. It's pretty spectacular in every regard. Yeah. I don't think I have much else to say. That's Network. That's Network, baby. That's Network, baby. Did you know that Danny Boyle's making a movie called Ink, which is about Rupert Murdoch and like kind of the formation of Fox News? No. It comes out this year. Oh. I had no idea. Curious. All right. Curious. Anyway, it's just something that I've been thinking about with Network because, thinking about like Kane and Face in the Crowd and Network and Broadcast News. And I'm like, I gotta find the rest of these because surely we've been making these through the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Surely. Yeah. There's got to be stuff that's about the media that's not annoying, To Die For? Maybe? Gus Van Sant? Anyway, that's a good movie. Anyway, nice. Just trying to think about all these different movies. But anything else to say about Network? My last slow button about Network before we get to the criteria is just in a world of, as we've talked about, like, just casting that works so well. I did not know there was a stage adaptation of this that went on the West End in 2017 starring Bryan Cranston as Howard Beale, which then came to Broadway the year after, which I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I can see that. Yeah. That works. That works well, I think. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we could probably hop over to criteria. Yeah, so historical and technical relevance. I mean, like, let's get the easy one out of the way. Technical relevance, probably not. Like, there's not, like, it's very interesting. Yeah, like learning about the lighting and, like, specifically, like, using the formalities of film in narration with, like, the themes of being trapped by television and the kind of fakeness of all of that. But aside from that, like, this isn't, like, groundbreaking in any regard, but historically relevant. Oh boy. Like, we talk about how the politics of Citizen Kane have been lost to time in certain ways as far as, like, modern viewing audiences, right? Like, we're not getting the denouncement of fascism that Orson Welles is working within much at all with modern audiences. Like, there's like, you can dig into it and you can learn about it, and obviously it's still there in the text, but that context has been lost, and the relevance it's just kind of a leap faded. Too far to find the relevance and the context. Basically, today what survives is, an old billionaire who knew Hitler. Yeah, feels relevant to our president, like that's... Right. Like, it's the inverse of this, where, like, almost all of
Kane's claim to this first point is technical, right? Like that is what people point to and is undisputable about it, is its pioneering technical innovations.
Yeah.
But this is the inverse of that, of like, yeah, this is maybe the most prophetic film ever made.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Truly.
Well, they had Sybil there.
They did have Sybil,
so,
which is a point in their corner.
And Vox Populi. So
right.
It made it a lot easier to be so prophetic.
Of course.
I agree. I guess, yeah, I mean, it's, as far as like reputation and legacy goes, I feel like the name Citizen Kane is more widely recognized than Network would be.
Yeah.
But anyone who watches the movies is going to be like, whoa, Network really taps into something.
Sure. I agree.
I mean, what was Ellie's takeaway from this?
Ellie really enjoyed it. Ellie, they similar things that we were talking about, of just like found herself disinterested in the B plot of Max and Diane and really wanted to get back to the Howard stuff a lot, but like overall enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, and felt the relevancy in the
absolutely, like absolutely. It was just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess the question is like, what do we prioritize here? I mean, typically with a movie that has enough of kind of a social or cultural impact, we tend to give that over Kane's technical reputation. But what do you think? Where do you land?
I think I would give this point to Network, because even if the specifics of the film are lost, in the same way that, like, I can ask somebody if they've heard of Citizen Kane, and if I ask that person what Rosebud is, a lot of the time they're not going to know what I'm talking about. You know? Like, that follow-up question would be like, I don't know. I just know that Citizen Kane is a great movie. Like, it's the Citizen Kane of blank, right? In the same way, in the same way, like, if you ask somebody, hey, have you seen the film Network? Have you heard of it? They'll probably say no. But I think if you play I'm Mad as Hell and I'm Not Going to Take It Anymore, people will be like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I don't know what it's from, but like
my grandpa referenced it a lot or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then removing that one step further of like, if you just pitch somebody what this movie is about and ask them to guess what year it came out, I would argue most people would probably be like, yeah, it's probably like last 10 years, right? Like, that feels very prescient. That feels very accurate to current day.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that would be my argument.
Okay, so I'd say, okay, I agree. Point to Network.
Yeah.
I mean, how well do you think it's doing what it's trying to do?
Pretty flawlessly. Maybe a little too
for our
good.
Show. Pretty flawlessly.
Maybe maybe so good it makes me feel bad.
I wish you could put on a t-shirt the exact way that you go. I mean, pretty flawlessly. Like, I can't even do an impression of it, but it's like the way that you like, but you go, I mean, I can't even do it because I'm doing it in my own way. Anyway,
that's funny.
I just wish I could put that on a t-shirt.
Wow.
When are we going to get GIF t-shirts?
Cool. Love that.
Love that. Let's get more screens or technology closer to our bodies, please.
I think so.
I think so. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm very much in the camp of giving the point to Network.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree.
And do you like it? Do you emotionally connect with it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, again, it makes me feel bad. Like, I watch this movie like, wow, things have only gotten worse, huh? Like,
yeah, I basically
we are
like
living
laughing,
in the satire.
having a great time, and then the movie ends, and I go, "Oh man, now I have to do like a text to life comparison."
Right? Yeah.
And then I go, "Oh man."
But I do think it is a great movie, and it's still, and obviously this isn't end all be all, but like this criteria point of like, you know, how well did you connect with it? Do you enjoy this movie? It's entertaining to watch. Like, it is like, it gets you watching these wonderful actors speaking these wonderful words and like incredible direction and editing and lighting. Like, it's just a really tightly put together film. That's a joy to watch.
It's unbelievably well written, unbelievably well performed. It's just a fantastic piece of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess clean sweep.
Clean sweep, I think.
Clean sweep for Network. Taking a step back, is it possible?
I certainly think so.
I think so too.
Do you want to
I'm
say
going
it?
to let you say it.
You're going to let me say it.
picked
All right. Network is better than Citizen Kane.
Whoa.
Whoa. Crazy.
This is the first known instant of a man saying that Network is better than Citizen Kane. Just kidding.
You heard it here first.
So I have written here, Barker, what's next time, but that's actually inaccurate.
Oh.
Because I've moved the schedule around a little bit.
You've shuffled.
I've shuffled a bit.
I see.
So what it says here is not accurate. I moved
right.
that to the summertime. It feels like a summer movie.
Great. I know
me,
nothing
what
about
we
it, so
initially had.
yeah.
Great. Well, so that's what we moved. So
Great.
We'll talk about that later. But what we're actually covering next week is another one of your picks.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Passion of Joan of Arc.
Oh, yes. Okay. Very
1928's own?
1928.
Did I get the title right?
Yes. Passion of Joan
I
of
don't
Arc.
have it in front of me. Lovely. Well, have you seen that before?
I have. It's been a long time, but I have seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen it, believe it or not.
Yay, another Max has not seen.
So we're jumping all the way back to 1928.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 100 years old.
Almost.
Love that.
Almost. Crazy.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Will it be fun? I don't know nothing about that movie. It'll be fun to talk about.
It'll be fun to talk about. I like our ventures into silent cinema. I always enjoy them.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while, a bit of shush is really nice.
I agree.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Especially after such a shouty movie.
Oh, such a shouty movie. Why'd they make the movie about Joan of Arc silent? Were they afraid of hearing a woman?
Were they afraid of hearing a woman speak?
Were they afraid of hearing a woman speak? They didn't want her to have a voice?
Should have known.
Problematic. No, I'm really excited. So that'll be good. In the meantime, everybody, have a nice day.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.